Hi, guys. This is the new version of our opening. Welcome, everyone, to the Reflections on the 12 Steps. Just a friendly announcement, this is not an AA meeting. It's just one member's view on the exact nature of the wrong, as described on page 64 of the Big Book, and the solutions contained within. This is not an all share meeting, though shares there will be, but actually a question and answer meeting with Paul. And so now, am I correct that we're moving into action, Paul?
We've been in action.
Well, of course, we've been in action. But aren't we just beginning the I missed Thursdays. I was busy
Right.
at the surgical center.
Yes. Well, we were into action.
Okay, where did we leave off there?
I
I'm
think we
sorry.
were the bottom of page 73.
Psychologists, or we must be in
No, we must be entirely honest.
Okay, I'm ready for that.
Just before this, we've been reading some of the chapters of the big book and then going over them. So right now we're on chapter 6, into action, which is obviously on page 73, the bottom of it. And we just riff off it and then yeah, okay. Take it over, Mickey.
Okay, here we go. We must be entirely honest with someone if we expect to live long or happy in this world. Rightly and naturally, we think well before we choose the person or persons with whom to take this intimate and confidential step. Those of us belonging to a religious denomination which requires confession must, and of course, will want to go to the properly appointed authority whose duty it is to receive it. Though we have no religious connection, we may still do well to talk with someone ordained by an established religion. We
Mickey,
are,
Mickey,
yes,
if you
sir.
want to just stop, we can jump a couple of paragraphs because this is just they're trying to give us directions on how to find someone to share. Uh,
Yeah, and we also have to remember the historical nature of this. They didn't have formal sponsors back then when this was
yeah.
written.
So yeah.
Okay,
So
how
if
about no?
involved, I think we should start with "We Pocket Our Pride," 75.
Oh, cool. We pocket our pride and go to it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. The feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often come strongly. We feel we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. Returning home, we find a place. Did you want to stop there, Paul? And
Yes, let's just stop there. And then the next thing is another direction for going home and sitting down for an hour and reviewing how you feel about uh, the first four steps. Yes.
right, right.
But it's then going to bring us to we're gonna let's just jump this paragraph and go to the next one because this is very important. Page 76.
Okay, here we go.
So we just did vaguely say it. Everyone went home, sat down there for an hour and reviewed the process that they just were under. So maybe you were looking at your faults in your character, and then you see something else is causing some of those faults. Yes. So hopefully you see the exact nature of the wrong is foreign to you. That's our view of this anyway. Yeah. All right. So go ahead.
Okay, if we can answer to our satisfaction, um, which is that we have reviewed the previous 5 steps, we then look at step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? Can He now take them all, every one? If we still cling to something we will not let go, we ask God to help us be willing. When ready, we say something like this: My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defective character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. We have then completed step 7. Would you like to stop there, Paul?
Yes, let's stop there for a second. So obviously we've now done the 5th step with somebody. And my feeling, how I was always talked about it too, was it's a trinity in a sense. Don't forget that this presence of the higher power, and then there's the other person in you. Yeah, and what you're going to basically see is the flaws in your character. That don't mean they're yours, yes? And the funny thing is that so much can be removed from you and you are still standing there, yeah? So is removed from you is inherently not you, yeah? Because if it was, you would have been removed, yeah? So a whole lot of stuff gets removed, yet you're there. And hopefully that sense of self gets removed and you get a sense of us, yeah, or of the spirit as our nature. And then now you're ready to really follow new direction because uh, at this point, that which is talking to you in its own language, it becomes spirit, which overrides the listening to the self's language, which is thoughts, yeah. Yeah. So you find the miraculous pause becomes more and more available. So before you put your foot in your mouth, there's a pause and then you don't do it. And this is how to live life successfully. Yes? Yeah. So someone they can hear in their head how much they hate their girlfriend, but the one time they say it to her, that's what triggers all the effects. Yeah. That's best to be left on the shelf, so to speak. But when that self compels us to act out, we say a lot of shit that we're going to regret saying. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, let's go back to this thing. When we decide on page 75, when we decide who is to, no, no, we pocket our pride and go to it. Isn't that a wonderful process? So you're finally going to share stuff, and it was pointed out to me, take advantage of this, of this captive audience, and maybe drop the secrets that you swore to yourself you were never going to share to another person, because they have become grotesquely out of proportion in your head. And if you put it out in the open, they would be shrank into a different proportion. Yes, they would. I remember I had a thing from my youth that I swore I was never ever going to tell anybody. I mean, swore constantly. And then I got the opportunity. These people had told me, why don't you drop whatever you keep hidden? And I knew that. And I said, all right. And so I said it out loud, and the guy yawned and he missed it. So I had to say it twice in about 3 minutes, where I swore I was never ever going to say it ever. And once I put it out there, it shrunk. When it was in here, it was huge. Yeah. Taking up a lot of space and a lot of security to make sure no one found it. Yeah. So there are so many aspects of this process, the fourth and fifth step, and that built-in humility where you will sit down with another person and be intimate about you. Maybe you're not ready, you're not able to be intimate with another yet, but you're going to be intimate about you to this other. Yeah. And so we pocket our pride and go to it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. I know the person was hearing it was delighted when I was over. When the 3 hour or 4 hour ordeal was finished, the person hearing the fifth step was very delighted. And over the years, I was trying to compress the time and space it would take by pointing out the patterns of how you have been defeated, not going over every individual event. Though some people need that. I don't know if everyone does. For me, I didn't need it. I didn't go over every one night stand. I just went over the pattern of one night stands. Yeah, because they were the same. Different people, but the same thing. So it sped up the whole process. And I believe this is the point, is we're attempting to see not only that self has defeated us, but see its patterns, because the defeat has a pattern to it. Yeah. It just keeps repeating the same thing with different, let's say, pieces of furniture, but the same. And it's revelatory, because this is what you're going to see or become aware of the rest of your sober life. And when you see this activity of the disease, you bring it to step 6 and 7. So this is an incredible bridge to really a great relief. Yeah. So here we pocket our pride and go to it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be done alone. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Wow. Our fears. You know how some people, uh, I can only see it in our community. Some people are serial relationship people. They they go through a relationship. Nothing of it really gets processed, and they're right in another one. And I feel maybe it's this. We can be this fear of not of being alone. And now we can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Pretty good, eh? Our fears fall from us. I believe when you see that they're not yours. Yeah. I think what's holding the fear on you is your ownership of it. I do. This is why a resentment, which usually in the wild comes and goes quickly, when domesticated by our resentment, it can live on and on. I mean, unbelievable. And it really mutates. Yeah. Wow. So you have a resentment about one girl and now you resent all women. It's just, it's insane. It really is. And it just occupies all us. Yeah. How can you be filled if you're already full of shit, let's say? How can he be filled? There's no room. It would just be a waste. It would just run over it. Yeah. This is why I really believe the timing of what works in our life is impeccable because you're wanting something now and it won't let it happen because you're not fucking ready, maybe. Yeah. And so things happen, and then somehow it all meets together and it works. Yeah. Because your wish or your desire was delayed. Yeah. Because that wish and desire wasn't going to work out. Yeah. How many people, when they're first new, they get into a relationship and that person becomes the higher power? Yeah. And then you see yeah, it's another way. It's like a side door the head loves to take off the path. Yeah. So this is the stuff you see when you do the inventory. Like I did the sex inventory and I saw that my pursuit of sex was really a pursuit of self-esteem. That's what I was doing. I was feeling so shitty all the time. I had to do something. So if a pretty girl would go out with me or go to sleep with me, that gave me some like credit, and I felt better about myself. But it would fade quickly, and I'd have to get that credit again, on and on and on. Yeah. Yeah, it was like feeding the beast, so to speak. So I thought all that sexual behavior was about sex, but it was mostly a lot of about self-esteem and pride and a sense of identification. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? A simple four-column inventory can reveal so much. Yeah. So our fears fall from us. Wow. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. Why? Because you're getting the sense of self is getting pushed out. Yeah. You're going to feel a presence of something, either the presence of self or the presence of the spirit. Now, the presence of self is manufactured mostly about being occupied by the past and future. Then your present is of self, so to speak. Yes. Because you're living in what's not happening, and that's where it plays a lot of God. But when that gets diminished, then you sense the presence, which is always available at all time with no effort because it's just here constantly. For you to be here, you got to be there and then. So you got to be thought about in the past and thought about in the future to override the present now. Yeah. It's an activity. It's an exhausting activity to be bound to self. Yeah. Yeah. It's very liberating to lose interest in that. Yeah. Yeah. So our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. That goes a long, long way. That goes a real long way. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. Yes. So instead of knowing a presence, you feel a presence. Yeah. Yeah. The feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often come strongly. Yes. We feel we are on the broad highway walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. That's an interesting way of saying it, but I get what they're meaning. Returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour. Here it is again, carefully reviewing what we have done. We thank God and the sponsor, who, whatever, really, from the bottom of our heart that we know him better. Taking this book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. So we review all that. And then if we can answer to our satisfaction, we then look at step 6. Now, I know if you've been here a while, step 6 and 7 become the most active steps. Yeah, I feel. So because more gets revealed of the disease to you, if you want, let's call it a disease. More gets revealed, and what that revelation isn't self-knowledge. Yeah, you take it over to 6 and 7, and you allow it to be seen by the knowledge of the Spirit, and then it gets downloaded to you. Yeah, you don't claim it and it's yours. You recognize something that's not of you, you bring it to 6 and 7, and then the value of it gets extracted by the higher power, not the value of it by the mental state, because it has a whole different value system, but the higher power recovers, retrieves what we thought we have lost, but we have not lost it. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, really. It's incredible. It's an incredible recycling. Yeah, yeah. And if you've been struck sober, or you realize something did for you what you cannot do for you, did do for yourself, and has got you sober and kept you sober, a lot of faith that you represent is in this direction. So when you do step 6 and 7, there's a lot of oomph there, because you're doing it in the sense felt feeling of what has done for you what you couldn't have done by yourself is going to do this step 6 and 7. There's a lot of oomph there, a lot of oomph, I feel. This isn't like imagining or making up or hoping. It isn't. Yeah, you've seen a power in your life work, and now you're going to work it more. You're going to, here you go, take all of me. And all of you may not be all of you right now. It may be showing up in time. All of you, what you're not and what you are. And hopefully there'll be the higher power, and discernment will clean the chaff from the wheat. Yeah. So you'll see what you are, and you'll see what you're not. And you'll bring what you're not to 6 and 7. Yes. To get great? No, to be a maximum use, as it says. Yeah. So we have emphasized willingness. If we can answer to ourselves as being indispensable, are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things that we have admitted are objectionable? Yes. Can he now take them all? Definitely. Everyone? Yeah. If we still cling to something, we will not let go. We ask God to let us be willing. I mean, it's pretty succinct direction there. Yeah. When ready, we say something like this: My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character, which aren't yours, yes? Your character has been defected by alcoholism. It's got to be removed. It can't integrate. You're not going to integrate it. It's not going to be part of you. It needs to be removed. And we've realized and admitted we can't do it, but we can ask something that can do it. And this is the process of removing the infection of alcoholism. We can't remove it. If we start digging, that doctor that's digging is the disease itself. Yeah. So, my Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me. Now, right now, yes, good and bad. I hope we're not reading this. I hope we're reading it and using it as a prayer right now. It's beautiful, right? I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Now you're not the one that decides what's standing in the way and what's not standing in the way. We're turning our opinion and our way of looking at things over also. Yeah. We're not going to give the list isn't already been done. Oh, here's what I want removed and here's what I really would like to stay. No, all of it's on there. You give it to them and you'll see what's valuable and what's not. Yes. You'll observe. Yeah. So I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. We have then completed the formal step 7. Yeah. But the working of step 6 and 7 becomes contemporary now. Yeah. Now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. Yeah, faith, the works are 6 and 7. We have faith that we can finally be honest because something will remove it. Who wants to know they're fucked if they're going to be constantly fucked? Yeah. But now we have faith that if I tell the truth about something, it can be removed. So now honesty becomes an advantage. You see through the act of denial because now you want this shit to be gone. It's not you. Yeah. And it's not yours. Give up ownership, and the house and the ground it's built on is going to get redeveloped. Yes. Now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. So more action. So actually 6 and 7 is action. Yeah, also. Now they're going to say we need more action, which is going to be step 8 and 9. So let's look at steps 8 and 9. You want to keep going?
Sure.
All right. We have a list of all persons we have harmed and to whom we are willing to make amends. Now, the sponsor I had a category of what I'm not willing to make amends for. I would write that stuff down. Yeah. And I had 3 things: what I'm never going to make amends for, what I don't want to make amends for, and then the things that I'm willing to make amends for. So start with the easy ones. And it didn't matter, actually, because the process had started before my idea of that I was in the process. Things that I had been conveniently avoiding started to find me all around San Francisco. And I would see it coming. My first reaction was to turn right, and then I'd pull over and, hey, and the guy would come to the car. I owe you $45. I ripped off you for that phone bill, something when you were a roommate. So I had an avalanche of shit that I thought I was successfully avoiding for years catch up to me. It was incredible. It really was. You could see what was steering the boat. My hand was not on it. Yeah. Because I'd be surprised a lot, and I'd be very surprised by my reaction. My first reaction was to split, and then I'd stay and confront. Yeah, it was awesome, really. This is how I learned how to face life successfully. So we have a list of all persons we have harmed and to whom we are willing to make amends. We made it when we took in inventory. We subjected, and then if you don't find everything in the inventory, you just add on to it. Yeah. We subjected ourselves to a drastic self-appraisal. I wish it wasn't your appraisal. I wish you would follow the nakedness of the language here. Self-appraisal. I wish we would do an appraisal on self. I would. I really, really would. because self is what has defeated us. It needs to be appraised. It does. I thought that's the point of the fourth step, actually, is to have an appraisal of how self has defeated us through its manifestations. Yeah. But they get lost. They go to that point and then they go back to where the root of the problem. And yes, yeah. We subjected ourselves to a drastic self appraisal. Now we go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self will. I want to read that again. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self will and run the show ourselves. Yeah. What's wanting to run the show is not you. What's wanting to run the show is that which is playing God, which is not you. That's so something foreign to you is using you for transportation, literally. Yeah. So we attempted to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will and run the show ourselves. If we haven't the will to do this, we ask until it comes. Yeah. Remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. Wow. Wow, they're bringing out the contract. I like it. Let me remind you, in the third step, you supposedly turned over your will and life over to the care of a higher power. It looks like you're trying to grab it back right now, and we're going to stomp that out of the ground. Remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. Yes. Did I agree? Yes, I did. Yeah. Probably there are still some misgivings as we look over the list of business and acquaintances and friends we have hurt. You know, I had a thing when I did the inventory and I was at 8 and 9, there was a couple of things I did. It wasn't that I was ashamed of them, but I had warrants out for my arrest. And this is the story I had. And when I was doing the inventory, I point this out to my sponsee, but I also swore I'm never going to deal with it, right? At least I'm not dealing with it right now. Because I had a real strong feeling I'd go to jail if I dealt with it. Yeah. And I didn't have the balls. So I said, nope, I'm not doing this. And so he said, all right, let's put that aside and keep going with the process. Okay. So this was like 6 months I was sober, never going to do it, basically. Just put it aside. And that would meant like forever, really. Year later, I'm in the community. I'm now a year and 6 months, I guess. In the community, I meet this lady. Her name was July, but that was a fake name because she was an assistant DA in San Francisco. Yep. So before she went out with me, she checked out my records. And she brought up, just like that statement, she brought up, Paul, do you know you have 2 outstanding warrants for your arrest in Alameda County? I go, yes, I'm quite aware of that. And she says, are you you want to deal with it? I could help you out. And I said, what? And you know what? A year in being in the program, I had been moved from never to willing. I was willing. And she helped me, but I had to I had to go to court and everything, but she helped me. And those 2 things were taken care of, and I did not go to jail. But if I was kept avoiding it and I got pulled over, I would have immediately gone to jail because I had not gone to court dates I was supposed to. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. So, and I used to do this all the time. I would have a court date, and when my head thought about the court date, it had a lot of fear about going to jail because sometimes that what would happen. Yeah. So it wasn't out of there was a kernel of truth in there, but it just blew up a huge fear. So was in this situation. I had a court date and I was worried about it. And I went to my God, that which was playing God. I said, God, what should I do? And it said, just don't go to court. Yeah. Immediately, the fear of going to jail dropped. It worked in a way. So I didn't go to court. The day of court came. I was just chilling out, drinking. I was thinking of all those jamokes, sweating it out in court. And then a day or two later, I'm driving my girlfriend's car, and one of the back lights was out. I got pulled over. And this is so I got pulled over. The cop comes up, takes my stuff, and he's in his car for like 40 minutes. I don't know what the hell was happening, but he was going over something. And when in America, if a policeman comes to your car and goes, please, Mr. Hedderman, step out of the car, you know you're going to jail. That's pretty much a given. So I threw a little tantrum because what did I do? I didn't do anything. And he explained to me, you have 2 bench warrants out for your arrest and you're going to jail. So listening to that which was playing God, managing my life concerning this anxiety about going to jail, yeah, its solution was not go to court. Yeah. Now I'm in jail and I have 2 court dates. Yeah. Following its solution. I'm in jail and I have 2 more court dates. This is what happened. Listening to this thing, it blew everything so much out of proportion. I mean, it was like a huge balloon in a room that had me pinned against the wall. There's no fucking, yeah. And it would always lead me to have to be managed by other people because of what was managing my life was completely unmanageable. That was one of the great revelations is that I am not managerial quality. And then the truth was that which I'm listening to is not managerial quality. Yes? Yes. That which is playing God. Yeah. It's not me playing God. I'm what's being played. Yes? You're being played by the thing that's playing God. You're not playing God. If you are, you suck as God. Yeah. Really. You suck really bad because looking to be happy and going out at night and ending up in jail doesn't seem to be a high level of God playing. But the funny thing is, it's super difficult if you believe you're that which is playing God. It's near impossible to stop playing God. Your misunderstanding is giving it full reign to romp all over you because you believe you're doing it and you're powerless to stop. Yeah. You may be powerless to stop, but you're not doing it. Something else is doing it. Yeah. And we have an access through this program to a power greater than that something else. And what we cannot do, something else can do for us, through us, by us following this simple programming. And I have our life based on, we have turned our will and life over to the care of a higher power, a power greater than self. That's it. Yeah. Does the head keep playing God? Yes. Does its effects diminish? Greatly. Does it keep playing God? Yes. Because it's not you. You can swear all you want to stop playing God. The head is going to keep playing God. Yeah, it is. We have a misunderstanding. Let it be corrected. Yeah, let it be corrected. This misunderstanding infects all the other understandings. Yeah. How are you going to get rid of a resentment if you keep calling it yours? We're misinterpreting fear. It's triggered by mental anxiety. Why would you concentrate on fear when the cause of it is self-reliance? Go to the self-reliance, tell the truth about that, and I bet you mental anxiety and its ability to trigger fear will diminish. Yeah? And you'll know the tree by its fruits. Something will actually work. Has it worked? Have you been successful getting rid of your resentments? They just keep coming. Yeah. And then you have a hierarchy. This resentment, completely justified. I'm never giving that fucker up. And yes, it's unbelievable. It's like having a pigeon coop and you have your favorites and you give them the most seed and everything. And you're the one that's stuck in the coop. Yeah. If you own something, you give it the ability to own you. Yeah, yes. And now it's been owning us for quite a while by its manifestations. Please recognize it, or you're going to be looking from it. Yeah.
Paul, I just recently heard a speaker say when we think that the thought my mind is out to get me, it's the reality is if my mind is out to defeat me, if my mind is out to get me, it's not my mind. I am its body.
Yes. See, this is the dilemma. The end game is you end up hating yourself. The end game is you're your own worst enemy. And that game can go on for quite a while. But this mistake isn't going to just stay at this mistake. It's going to grow. Yes. To the point there is something that seems to hate you and you'll take it to be you. Yeah. Yeah. This is the dilemma. This is why it needs to be looked at because it's going to grow. Sober or not, it's going to grow. When you're not sober, you have a lot of miracle grow on it, but it's still going to grow in sobriety. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a solution. It's staring us right in the face. Page 64. Page 64, I humbly believe, should reverberate through everything else that's said in the book. Being convinced self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. How is there confusion in that statement? I could see if you were French and you read it in English, we grew up with English. That's a pretty obvious statement. Something has defeated us, and it ain't us. It's given the name self, but it's an activity. Yeah. It's an activity. Yeah. But it definitely has defeated us or limited us or bound us or imposed calamity on us. Yeah. Or has used or has driven us. And many of our life experiences were based on decisions based and made from self. I don't see you don't need any more. It's there. You can see it in the book and then you can see it in your own life. Yeah. It was obvious to me thousands of times. Something compelled me to do what I would not have done on my own over and over and fucking over again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wanted to paint and I was the brush. It wanted to paint, I was the brush. It had me because the brush thought it was the painter. Yes, I do not believe the driver, I do not believe the driven can be the driver. I just don't. I think we were in the role of being driven. And I hope we're in the role of still being driven, but now we're driven by the higher power instead of driven by the lower power. Yes, doesn't if I humbly believe every one of us is going to be driven no matter what. No matter what. It matters what's driving us. And to be clear, what's driving us. Yeah. Yeah. Because if we believe the driver is the driven, we're going to be driven into a fucking condition of I hate myself or I'm my own worst enemy. That's insane. You know what I mean? That's that's insane. It is, literally. For everything that's going on, I find myself deeply convinced that I'm my own worst enemy. That is insane. You cannot let that go by. Oh, no, no. It needs to be addressed and confronted. Yeah. Jesus. I hate myself. You know how much work there is in that? Hating yourself? Talk about self-obsession. You need a lot of self-obsession to hate you. You do. A lot. A whole lot. Yeah. That you are so uniquely different and you're completely worthy of extreme hate. Is an strange uniqueness that's really terminal. Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, and some people keep insisting I'm self centered. That's my identity. I am still self centered. And
great. Great. Oh,
I just think let it go.
hey, everyone has all the right in the world. Go ahead. Yeah. But also, I believe people have a right to hear other possibilities. Yeah. Because they may be inclined without knowing it to hear something different. Yeah. And hopefully it will take root and it will grow. And instead of hanging yourself from the branches, the leaves will give you some shade. Yes. Yes.
They finally hear the pup.
Yeah, I mean this was a primary point in recovery to me. Primary, primary, literally, till this day. To see the reflections on the 12 steps comes from this. That's how I look at the 12 steps. I don't look at the 12 steps from uh, I'm that, yeah. I'm the one that's playing God. I'm the one who chose every moment of drinking and using. I don't ever see it that way. I see it from something drove me to do a lot of shit, and I can change the driver. Yeah. The driver can be voted out and a new driver can take over. Yeah. I'm never going to be the driver. I got to be clear I'm the driven. Yeah. And when you're clear about that in AA world, there's only two possible drivers, either trusting finite self or trusting the infinite. That's it. Yeah. So you rented the car, you're at Hertz, and now you're trying to get a driver. Yeah. Hey, they only have two available. I think I've used the last one. It seemed to use me quite a lot. So let's try the higher power. Let's try the higher power one. Yeah. I'll get back to you. I'll send you a review of how it's going. Swimmingly. I thought it was my tires. I thought it was me. No, it was what was driving you. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? Literally. Can you imagine uh, uh, when, let's say you go to therapy? I'm not a knowledgeable about therapy, but I tend to think that when you go to therapy, there's more stuff you learn that needs to be therapized. Yeah. And how deep is that hole, in a sense? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you get clear about your family of origin on Earth. Now your mind comes up with the family of origin in Mars. And you got more therapy to go. I see this as such a much clearer, swift, uh, just the basis being changed. Yes. Seeing you're not that which needs to be therapized, yeah, you do something else. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyone else today?
Sean had his hand up a while ago. Sean, are you still there? You are.
Hey, thanks for the meeting, Mickey and Paul. Thank you again for what you do. It's been a real help for me a lot, taking my recovery to another level. I asked you this question, I think, on our last meeting, and I'm still struggling with it a bit. I'm trying to figure out what is all mental thought self and no God inspiration? I'm struggling to separate the two.
About that, because there's going to be a mix, and you're going to, in time, you learn a discrimination, yes, or a discernment, yes. So you see almost as if two horses are presented, and you learn which one you like to be ride by the riding of both. Yes, so you learn. Yeah, the thoughts have nothing to do. The thoughts are just being used. They can be enlightened thoughts or they can be misleading thoughts. It's based on what's before it. Yeah. The thoughts are just vehicles. Yeah. There was a guy I liked a lot. He was so compassionate. He tried to make everything easy. He would talk about two aspects of the mind, the working mind and then the psychology, the psychological mind. So the working mind is what navigates a day when you got a nut and a bolt and you've got to get this and that. Yeah. And then the psychological mind is what's constantly interpreting and critiquing the working mind. Yes. And this is where the obsession of self occurs, is in that area. So there's a lot of aspects of the head that have quite a lot of value here. Yeah. You can take, a division out of what's 12 times 6 divided by what, to build something. So there's a lot of aspects, but it's basically what's influencing these processes are rooted in the two possibilities, either the finite self or the infinite. Yeah. So this is all these processes are processes, but what's driving them or what's directing them is what's giving the meaning to them. So, yeah, a thought can be given a meaning by alcoholism to lead to a drink. Yes, to justify something. But the thought is innocent. It's just a thought. Yeah. But this is a subjective experience we're having with thought and feelings and opinions and understandings. And where a lot of stuff gets shaded is by that subjectiveness. Yeah. Because the head is not seeing, it's seeing from a magnified view of self-centeredness. Yeah. So it sees everything as how it pertains to self, which gives weird proportion to the whatever it sees. Yeah. So what you're seeing or how you're seeing it is determined by that. Yeah. So thoughts are thoughts. They can be used to, you know, build a closet in a room, or they could be used to be going over something you actually never even did constantly all day and driving you to drink. Yes. But the thoughts aren't the dilemma. It's what's before the thoughts. Yeah. I could go into it a lot, but most of us, the first acknowledgement of thought is we're the thinker of them. This is a dilemma right there and then. Because now, if you put a lot of polluted stuff into the thought stream, we don't have the discernment to see what's going on. We think they're all our thoughts. Yes? Wow. And so that which wants to play God has a field day using underneath the camouflage of our thoughts, it puts in a lot of alcoholic thoughts and addictive thoughts. Yes. And then there's an owning of them and shit. They can drive us to drink. They can drive us to use. Yeah. Yep. You can see what's going on. You can. You can be aware of it. You can be aware of it, and you can be brought to awareness of it by an understanding. What we're doing is the latter. Yes. I believe we've all had instant recognitions and pauses, and we're just trying to give it some form by presenting an understanding that I think will make seeing certain things more frequent. Yeah. Yeah. And you'll come to a new conclusion that what has defeated you isn't you. And I believe that's a hallelujah, tell you the truth. Truly. And so it's not the processes, it's what's taken over the processes. Because the processes are being used either by the higher power or the lower power. Yeah. Yeah. And then the process uses us. Yeah. And there we go. We're driven. Self-imposed calamity, we call our calamity. Yes? But they were imposed by self. Why not, do you believe a specific recognition has a lot of sway here? I do. I believe why they emphasized getting to the exact nature of the wrong and the causes and conditions. Why did they stop really talking about alcohol pretty quickly and went to the real cause of the shit, which is the underlying causes and conditions and the exact nature of the wrong? I feel that's where an understanding is very valuable. Yeah. And one basic understanding is you are not that which has defeated you. Yeah. And you are not that which is playing God. Yeah. And more. But yes. And we're here every week, and we'll be here every week unless whatever. Who knows? But yeah, I don't see an end to the job or the service. I don't. It's just, the head's landscape can dry up very quickly. You got to keep presenting it the idea of water. Yeah, and I never get tired of it, literally. I don't. And that was given. Yeah. I do not have the capacity to do this. No, I don't at all. And but I'm like, to me, this is like a leg to a pit bull. I've chomped on it. I don't think if you don't see this, you're going to be looking from it. That's simple. If you don't see what has defeated you, you're going to be looking from it. You know, that's its wet dream. Yeah, to have you look from it. It has you then, sober or not. Yeah. But to see it, to become aware of it, I feel opens the possibility that you can be free from it, literally. Yeah. Because it's not you. And instead of discovering self, maybe you'll discover us. Yeah. And really, the maintenance of just discovering us is really the spiritual maintenance that diminishes the self. Yeah. Just being what we are is the highest form of maintenance. Yeah, I feel. And what says you're not being what you are? Your head. Yeah. Your head will say tons of shit. It'll say, I'll say you're being what you are when you do this and this and this. Then you do this and this and this. It adds another fucking requirement. Yeah. That's playing God. You're not that. Yeah. Why would you want that which has misled you to tell you where you are? Why? Why would you want that which has constantly misled you to tell you where you are? Just, that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I mean, there's yeah. Anyone else? We got Chris and we got Rico.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, thank you.
Rico, you were first. You want to come on in?
Well, that all depends, Mickey.
You're already in, so that's the formality. Yeah.
Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you. I send you love and light from my heart to yours on this beautiful day. You know, this is not pro or con anything. I just want to share an experience with my brother Sean. For the and this is not to direct you because I don't direct anybody. I can't even direct me. But I found out over the last 4 or 5 years, anytime I want to figure something out for me, I know I'm going down the wrong street. Because whatever I figure out, it's going to be as Rico sees it. And I think the book is called As Bill Sees It. I don't think it's a book as Rico sees it. And what I've learned to do is to go into contemplation. And there is one, because underneath wanting to figure it out, what I really want to do, because I'm lazy, I want to know. I don't want to figure it out. I want to know. And I only know one who knows. So I go in the corner of stillness and silence and ask. Sometimes it's revealed, sometimes it's not. But when I catch myself trying to figure something out, it's like trying to understand the metaphysics of a jazz band. I'll never really know. But if I want to know, what I want to know is truth. And I've been out the gate by 8, in the spoon by noon, on the floor by 4, and back in the pen by 10 for a long time. I don't know about truth, but I know how to get to truth. And what I do is I rely on people like you to steer me down a path, and then I get still and quiet and ask. A lot of times it comes, a lot of times it doesn't. But when I'm figuring something out, I know I'm in trouble. So I just want to share that experience with you.
Thank you, Rico. 4 on the floor and 10 in the pen.
Take us there all the time.
Ass, 12, my ass is sore. 1, all the stores are closed. Oh. All right. Any we have
Chris.
Yeah, I just got a quick comment. When you talk about being driven and making amends and things, and so much I hear from people, it's almost like a mantra of like, oh, my dad made really bad choices, or like this person made some bad decisions, and like more and more, like I feel like, us like real people, like so much of what's actually driving us is not us making decisions and choices. It really isn't. I mean, anymore. I look at, like, the COVID virus. It just spreads. It doesn't care. It's just that's what it does. Doesn't care about who you are, whatever. It's just gotta. And I feel like as people, based on our whatever genes, conditioning, whatever, we just kind of do stuff we don't really. We kind of wish we didn't do, and whatever. And I have a really hard time, even people. I have a really hard time looking at people and being like, yeah, you made a bad decision, you made a bad choice, because like, you know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't, not to let people off the hook, because they are accountable, like you said, because no one else is. You can't hold anyone else accountable, but I don't know where to draw that line. But it just definitely feels like just loosens up the blame a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, and it's the process continues. So lines get blurred quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see something between the lines. Yes, yes. It's true. Lines are they can be almost like the bars of a jail cell.
Yeah. You try to make yourself do things, then it's just not really right for you. There's a lot of that. Like your character, whatever, wants to do certain things that's not harmful to anyone, and you gotta just let that go.
Well, yeah. Well, there's going to be a vague loss of interest, and it's going to have a lot of effects. So now I have been taught and retrained through recovery to somewhat behave myself as an action figure. Yeah. And now there would be way too much effort to unbehave myself. So this is just the easiest, softer way. Keep rolling on.
See, I've gone the opposite. I've spent way too long being like always doing exactly what I'm supposed to and being like afraid to step out of line and putting a lot of pressure on myself. And now I'm if I say I'm going to do something next Tuesday, I'm going to do it next Tuesday. And now I'm like, yeah, that might happen.
Well, that's what we needed. That's
Yeah,
what we needed. Your action figure needed to be loosened up. Mine needed to be tightened up.
yeah,
Yeah, and whatever's directing us sees that and does what's necessary.
yeah. I just want to really thank you again, Paul, for being here, and all of you actually for being
Yeah,
here and
it's
sharing.
awesome. It's awesome to have it's great with me. It's fantastic. It gives the action figure a purpose also, which is healthy.
Where you help a lot of people in a very unique way.
Well, yes, and all of you help me in a very unique way. So it's always it's like I love the symbioticness. So Mickey needs to carry the message. I need to hear the message. Mickey needs to hear the message. I need to carry the message. So it goes on and on. So it's like it's very, very, there's no, the source of the transmission isn't the radio. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The radios just pick up a frequency and then it gets expressed through the radio, but the radio is not the source. And this is the greatness of recovery. Uh, True ownership and true recognition of what's going on brings about an ease and comfort. It does.
it
Yeah.
does.
I mean, uh, to try to look at thoughts as yours and then try to herd them, it's like trying to herd cats. Yes. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Not because you're not able to. It doesn't work. That's all. You're misunderstanding the dynamic.
Yeah,
The biggest thought that's running us is that we're the thinker. It is. It's the what it gives so much meaning to all the other thoughts, but it's a thought in and of itself.
yeah. I was just reading your book last night, and one of the chapters starts with a quote from Nisargadatta, I think, that says something like, "The mind, whatever, ex experiences thoughts and emotions, and then the mind notices them." Like none of that is actually you. And I was able to kind of see that. Oh yeah, it's like this system that runs over there, and I'm not actually involved in that.
Really, and the thing is, when you become aware of it, the head says you were before it. That's what it does. So you become aware of something, and then the head says you were before that. And this is the story. This is why people are trying to get out of what they're not in and trying to get into what they're not out of. We have no clarity of the horse in front of the cart, even though that's the only way it's established. But we see it differently. We think the cart is in front of the horse. That doesn't make it so, it just makes it seem to be so. Yeah. And the stubbornness of that continues. So we observe a process, and then suddenly the head says we were before the process, and somehow we're the doer of the process and should be held accountable for our moral value if should I or shouldn't I done it. Yes, it's just insane. It's like if you ever grew up in Catholicism, one of my first German Shepherd thing like this was with the original sin. They said you did a mortal. See, they have different qualities of sin. Mortal sin was top shelf, you're fucked, basically. But original sin is a mortal sin that happened before anything happened. So you you're being told when you're like 5 years old or 6 years old that you are weighed down the rest of your life with original sin. And for the life of you, you can't remember doing anything. anything doing anything. It's just insane. It's insane. It's like a little kid and they put like a 300-pound backpack on them. Okay, go out, trudge the road of happy destiny, knowing you're fucked from the get-go. How do you absolve the original sin? You don't. What? Oh, wait a minute. And then you want to tell me I'm the doer of everything in my life? Yeah, this is insane.
Your job is being convinced.
You're going to hell. And then come to a point where you think you deserve it. That's insane. Insane. So, yeah, thank you, Chris. Yes. I'm always amazed about the how fucking crazy it can get up there. Yeah. Uh, and it's being portrayed, you know. What's happening inside is projected outside. Yeah, I don't want to go into that, but hey, thank you, everyone. I'm going to start saying goodbye. Martin, thank you as always for keeping the ship afloat or helping it stay afloat. Mia, thank you for the biscotti, Mia. Yeah. Amelia hid it for a day and then brought it out. She wanted to make sure I had enough gratitude, and I do. A vast amount of gratitude. Michael Stacy, my main man. I really like Michael Stacy, even though he reminds me of an FBI agent or something. If he was hanging out with me when I was out there, I would think he was an undercover cop pretty quickly. I would. Something would have happened to Michael. Dave W. Nice to see you, Dave. I hope all is well. I hope all is swimming good. Mickey, as always, the forever greeter. And I thank you so much. I haven't told you, I love that card you sent me. Yeah, very nice. It's a nice production. They go nice production. Kathleen, as always. Yeah. Do not say that she's from Delaware. No, that's fighting words for Kathleen. Sean, yeah, we're in this together, Sean. You and I stay sober, day at a time. Roman Mueller, my man. Nice to see you, Roman. Yeah. John Bentz. Nice to meet you, John. Yes. Rico Cruz, as always. Barbara. Wow. Guest appearance. Nice to see you, Barbara. John K, as always. Stephanie, nice to see you again. Sean, nice to see Sean. I had the pleasure of meeting him down in Joshua Tree. Very nice. Nice. It was nice to meet you guys. John in Florida. One day we'll get together. Jess in Ireland. Wow. Nice to see you, Jess. Joseph C, our man in France. Nice to see you, Joseph. Kathy in Cleveland. She's our dictionary. Yes. Stephen Mack on Having Never Left. Rick Rowe. Wow, he's either at the airport with the moving sidewalk or he's on whatever it's called. Terry. Nice. Always nice to see Terry from Maine. Still in Maine, Terry? Yeah. It's beautiful now, eh? Yeah. I'd love, yeah. Oliver, our man in Berlin. I think you said you're going to send me something, Oliver. Did I miss it? I probably did. So, but send it if you do. Denise H. Nice to see you, Denise. Yeah. Carry on. She was looking for something. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Such a pleasure. We'll be here later today at 4:30 Pacific time, going into the exact nature of things. none of this is really that important. I think we all are rooted in a certainty that is the unsuspected inner resource. Yeah. It's a stabilized certainty that can really allow you to travel light through this unstable event. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. See you guys. Hopefully.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.